Yeah.
When you're ready.
Okay. Halo 3, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. What all of these things have one thing in common: violence. Do violent video games make teens aggressive or violent? I don't think it does. Over the past several years, a hot topic of controversy has been video game violence. There has been more and more violence being added into video games for like the past 20 years. Games like Halo, Resident Evil, Doom, Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto are being played by teens all over the world today. These video games have one thing in common. I said weapons, blood, and violence. Does it have the effect on the person who plays the games? For example, the teens become aggressive or violent after they play a violent video game? I don't think it does. Some teens may have violent thoughts after they play the game, but they don't go out and start going out on the streets and start a shooting rampage. Whenever school shootings occur, people want to blame the shootings on video game violence. But what I've seen on the internet and TV, school shootings happen because the kid gets picked on every day of their lives. Teens all over the world have become completely addicted to first-person shooting games. With technology as great as it is today, game makers are designing games that are so real it's scary. Millions of teens play games which they walk around various levels, picking up weapons and starting to kill people. In the same day, we have teens walking around schools, killing classmates ruthlessly. As a video game player, I admit I have played many of the shoot 'em up games. I completely agree that these games are fun and tend to feed the male ego. I have also played games that are also too violent. Games where enemies bleed everywhere and almost non-stop, that you can see the opponent's facial expression before you shoot between their eyes. For example, the incident in Columbine High School in Colorado, the media blame the shootings because of video game violence. But it was thought that these boys have played so many shooting games like Doom and Quake that they were brainwashed and became in love with the violence they were involved with. Why I think video game violence does not affect teens. Many teens do play video games, most of them violent. The games are mainly kid stuff. The average video gamer is 30 years old. Most games that are a rating of M, which is mature, or AO, which is adult only, are purchased and played by adults. Teenagers know what the difference of reality and virtual reality is. In the game, you can go around killing people over and over again and respawn. But when you're on the streets and you kill somebody, you can't bring them back. Teens these days are being exposed to bad language, animated violence. Daily teen life involves some profanity, adult themes, and violent entertainment every day of the year. U.S. violent crime rates have gone down significantly over the past 20 years, and video games have become more and more violent. What does this mean? Does this mean teens will go out on a shooting rampage after they play a violent video game? Well, I found a study that maybe it can. Researchers at the Indiana University School of Medicine say that brain scans of kids who played a violent video game showed an increase in emotional arousal and decrease of activity in brain areas involved in self-control, inhibition, and attention. Vince Matthews and his colleagues from the Indiana University School of Medicine chose two action games to include their research on one violent and the other not. The first game was a racing game called Need for Speed, and the other was a first-person shooting game, Medal of Honor. The team divided a group of 44 adolescents into two groups and randomly assigned the kids to play one of the two games. Immediately after the play sessions, the children were given MRIs of their brains. The scans showed a negative effect on the brains of the teens who played Medal of Honor for 30 minutes. The same effect was not present in the kids who played Need for Speed. The only difference in the kids' brains was violent content. Just because the scans showed a negative effect on the brain doesn't mean that those same kids who play the video game are going to go home and start acting violent to their family or kids at school. Yes, the kids are thinking violent thoughts after they play a game, but they're not going to go out and cause a violent act. I took a survey of 60 people from my team and from back home. 73% said they play video games on a daily basis. 92% said they play video games, violent video games most of the time. 8% said they play sports, simulation, or racing games. If they play violent video games, 63% said their favorite is Halo, 20% said Grand Theft Auto, 12 Gears of War, and 5 Call of Duty. 100% people of the I surveyed said violent video games do not determine whether a team acts aggressive or violent. These are some of the popular video games that I know and most of you know, like Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid, Gears of War, Halo 3, Resident Evil, and Metal Gear Solid. What do I think of all this? Well, Jack Thompson is an activist and is against violence in video games. I have watched some of his videos like on YouTube, and basically I just think he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he says violent video games are corrupting the youth in this world today. I don't think it's corrupting the youth. I've been playing violent video games since Doom was on computer. That was like in 2nd grade. So, I play violent video games all the time, and after I get done playing, I may have the thought of going to find my brother and start play fighting him, like try to like pound on him, but I just don't go outside and with a gun and start shooting people. My brother's 14 years old, and I saw him buy Gears of War at Best Buy the day it came out, and he was 12 years old. The guy at the register didn't ask how old he was. He just scanned the game and put the game in the bag. In my opinion, I think that American teens are struggling to find themselves in our culture today. Teens are in an endless pursuit to discover who they are and what they want. I think that many teens are just violent by nature and do things on their own free will. Thank you.